So how do you prepare for a trip, your very first trip with a group, large group, family, or young children? Let's get into it. Maybe you've been doing it solo in the past. Maybe you've never done it at all. Or maybe you were just a guest with somebody else on their camping trip and really didn't know what went into doing it. I'm going to share some information with you that I hope you find helpful so you can avoid some of the mistakes that we made on our very first multi-family camping trip. Here are some important things that you would definitely want to consider when preparing for your very first trip. There's about 10 different things that I want to share with you. Number one, decide what you should bring. I think the biggest thing that I needed to make sure of is that we had the right type of tent, shelter, a place to cook, sleeping bags, entertainment items, things to cook with, ample water, tools for safety, flashlights or any type of lighting, emergency equipment like satellite radios. I would also include a compass, things to clean up the area and to keep the area clean while you're there, bug repellent, sunscreen, food storage items. I also think it's a good idea to have some first aid equipment and first aid kits. And I always make sure that I have some kind of navigation or even a paper map. Check and make sure that you have enough firewood or whatever you're going to use to fuel cooking. Always think about comfortable chairs and a table to prepare your food or to put your food on in case one is not provided.
So Xavier told me to sing him a bedtime song, and this is the song that I chose.
I forgot all about that.
Bless you. I don't know where I'm going.
Jizzle.
You better been around.
I can't get this groovy version.
You gotta get this is all I have on this playlist. I'm sorry. He just went over there to start fishing. He been chilling.
Number two, what type of site is appropriate for the group that you're taking? So we are finally out here, got everything set up, and I didn't even bother to record it setting up because it was so hot. It was so annoying. The heat was so rude, but we're all set up. We got the camper and we got the tents going. So 1, 2, that tent right there holds 11 people, 11 or 12, something like that. But that's a really big camp tent. And then that's mine, that little one right there. That's my oldest son, my son-in-law. And then you'll see the rest of them. They're all hanging in the tent right now. It's like a party going on over there.
big waves.
Oh. It's not hot in there?
It's not hot. Yeah, but look.
To me, RV sites work the best when I'm going with a large group. And the reason is because I like the fact that they have a lot of things that are provided by the city or the state that you're in, like water, electrical connections, bathrooms. Some of them have showers, some of them provide picnic tables, and some of them also provide a fire pit. I also prefer that it be a populated area so people can look out for one another. Not only that, I think it is good that when you are camping for the first time, that at nighttime you have other people around so they know what's going on. For me, developed sites just make more sense. I love that showers were available in case that was needed. Some people do bring portable showers and things like that. So it's really a preference and about all the things that you're going to bring or not bring. And water sources like showers, bathroom, flushing toilets, that was a great idea for having as many children as we took on the trip with us. I also like the RV sites because in the camping sites where you had to pay and reserve, because they always had security around and attendants to maintain the property. And not only that, sometimes neighbors have some of the things that you forgot at home. And that was one of our experiences while we were there. The camping site that we went on also had a store that was right outside of the campsite. So we could walk right to it, and it had a lot of the things that we forgot to bring. And when we ran out of ice, it was plenty there. So the main thing is you want to be able to ease into it, and having a place like a camping site or RV site helps you to ease into it without any kind of fear or hesitancy. You also want to be very clear about the weather, and you're going to have to keep checking the weather daily before you go because it changes all the time. Make sure you consider what the plan will be if it rains. We did not really prepare for that. We had to kind of wing it at the time because it did rain, and we weren't totally prepared for it. So having a large tarp that you can put over your tent if it doesn't come with a cover, or you forgot the cover, or it was misplaced, that way you can put the tarp over whatever tent that doesn't have really good water protection. Always try to make sure that you have a lot of tent stakes to stake down your tent, because if it gets windy, you don't want to see that thing blowing in the wind. And I was so glad that we went to a store because we needed clamps. And when the rain came, which we weren't prepared for, the clamps helped us to clamp that onto the tent that was for the children. We also had some, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a awning or a big awning that we could put over the tent that helped protect the children from the rain. It didn't rain hard, it didn't rain a lot, but it rained enough where if we had not had that cabana or whatever you want to call it, they would have been soaked. Number 3, make sure your gear works. Make sure your tents work. And make sure you have directions to put them up and to take them down. Since we didn't have a lot of directions for the tents that we had, it kind of caused a lot of frustration and irritation in the people that were having to put them up and take them down. Another good thing to remember is if you're going to have air mattresses or maybe tubes and things that you're going to use in water, make sure you have something to pump that thing up. And it would never hurt to have a patch kit in case something gets a hole in it because of the area that you're in. You know, we were on a rocky pad, and so it could easily have busted, you know, some of the items that we were using. So having a patch kit is a good idea. It's also good to invest in a generator because you never know what might be happening or whether or not they have electrical outlets for you. If you're not in a camper, then you might be in tents and you may need things to power up. And that would be good if you get a really good generator. I, for one, have a CPAP, and so I needed something to plug my CPAP into for the nighttime. Be very familiar and aware of the campfire rules. Some places do not allow you to have fire, and some places don't allow you to use certain types of wood unless it's treated. Number 4, food, cooking, and prepping. When we got out there, our grill did not have, we didn't have the proper tools to clean the grill off that was provided. So it was nice that my daughter brought a grill gate or grill cover, and so we were able to use that. But you definitely want to make sure that you have the cleaning things to clean off the grill gate if you're going to use it to cook on. Also, because you're maybe coming in with a large group and you're going to be preparing food for a large group, it might be a good investment to buy a grill that you can cook the food on properly and cook a lot of food at one time, because you never know what might go wrong with the grill that you have out there or the grill that you forgot to bring. Number 5, teach the children about safety in the water, safety with wildlife that might be out there, and just being aware of their surroundings. We saw children go out into the wooded area, and they weren't really paying attention to the ground, and they were going out there to gather some wood. But children need to be aware that it's possible that there are snakes out there. It's possible that there be other wildlife out there. So teaching them about a little bit of safety and awareness, because a lot of times children just kind of go willy-nilly all over the place, not paying attention to surroundings, and that's what kids do. That's what we did when we were kids. We just really had no fear, but they need to just at least have some basic understanding and knowledge about wildlife that's going to be out there with them. Another thing that I realized we had going on is that children were eating chicken bones and then throwing them out in the grass. I think that is something that they just really need to be mindful of, is that all food, all disposable food, bones and things like that should go in a trash bag, because some of these children just felt like they should just throw it all out there in the grass, and then that attracts animals to the campsite. So teaching children about the basics of camping, and not only that, just camping etiquette in general. They just do anything and everything without even thinking about the outcome or the consequences or what it might cause. So teach them about that type of stuff and the best way to dispose of all trash, food items, paper plates, forks, cups, everything, because it's easier to clean up, especially if you know where things are. And when they throw them out there in the woods and stuff like that, you know, all they're doing is attracting animals to our campsite, and we're trying to limit that as much as possible. Number 6, cell phone service and Wi-Fi connections. Even though I'm happy to not have as much contact with the outside world and being off the grid, it's still good to remember that most of these places, the Wi-Fi signal is really bad. And it's bad because if you're really needing to get somewhere, it's hard to get a signal. So just be prepared for that. And if you did this by GPS, it would probably be in your best interest to write the directions down or take a screenshot of it so you can at least know your way out and in of the area that you're staying in. But Wi-Fi signal can be really bad depending on where you're going. So yes, make sure you have your directions written down and someone knows where you are. Another issue with taking children out, especially children that are old enough to have cell phones, some places don't have no cell phone service. And most of the kids that we took with us, they were very bothered by not having a signal or not having any cell phone service so they could use their phones. So, you know, the kids need to disconnect at some point in time, but we also understand that most of them are growing up in this technology age, and so they don't know anything more than that. But help prepare your children for no Wi-Fi. Number 7, what will be the plan when you have to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom? I'm not feeling this, but I'm getting through it. I will see y'all in the morning. I feel like I hear everything going up at night, and it rained. So I had a little episode this morning. I got really bad Charlie horses in my legs. And when I tell you, I hopped out of that tent so fast. Yeah, so that happened about 5 a.m. And it was rainy and wet outside. So when I hopped out, of course, my clothes got wet because I was moving swiftly. And so I am sitting in our vehicle. We leave today, so I'm sitting in the vehicle was thinking that I was going to maybe sleep for another hour, but I can't sleep. So yeah, I'm just hanging out, and then in a minute, I'm glad the rain stopped. In a minute, I'll go and fix my coffee, and then we'll start packing up. But yeah, I didn't sleep well at this time. I slept well the first night, but I didn't sleep well last night, and I think mostly because it was raining, and so I heard so many sounds, and I'm sure it was nothing, besides the little things that were falling out of the tree, and then just all the drops and stuff make it sound like something's outside. So yeah, finally after I prayed, I think because I woke up at 2:30, and then I didn't fall back to sleep until almost 3:30. So I was up for a whole hour. But yeah, that was my incident. I think I would prefer to sleep in a vehicle over a tent, because in a vehicle, if something is out there, animal, that's mostly what I was thinking about. But if something is out there, if you're in your vehicle, you feel a little bit more secure. So I think, although I'm going to do camping, I think I'm going to limit my camping to car camping. And I'm probably going to still get a tent, so I don't have to sit in my car and I can use the tent, but a tent that I can stand in. Getting up in the middle of the night may be scary for children, even when they're home. So you have to prepare your children and yourself for having to get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. So considering how much you're going to drink before you go to bed, or how late, that should be the thing that you think about, just like you were at home. If you know that drinking a whole lot of water or liquids after 8 p.m. or something like that is going to have you up over and over again at nighttime, you might want to consider not doing that just because you're out, camping or, doing things outdoors and you're going to be sleeping outdoors. Make sure you have flashlights handy for having to get up in the middle of the night. The facilities are not close by, or you didn't bring something like a portable potty. We brought a portable potty and a little shelter to put the portable potty into, so kids could just get up and go to the little portable potty, and it was close to their tent. So if the bathrooms are not close by, or they don't want to walk over there because they're scared, then maybe having a portable potty close to the tents that they could get up and go use. And if they have their own flashlights or some form of light to walk over to it, then maybe they will feel less scared. I, for one, was afraid about getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom because everybody's asleep, and I'm one of those people that have to usually get up multiple times in the middle of the night. So that's just something to consider and think about when you're camping. Where are the facilities, and do you need to bring a portable potty for easy access? Number 8, if you have young children or children that have problems with wetting the bed, make sure you bring the proper supplies for that purpose. And that may be having pull-ups for children. If whatever you do at home, you need to do there as well. There were multiple bedwetters, and for that reason, we had to wash blankets and items that they used to sleep on. And they all slept in one great big tent together. And so it caused issues with other kids that were like, oh my gosh, it smells bad in here. And so if that is the case, then we had to, which that was the case for us, we had to find a laundry facility. And we were grateful that there was washer and dryer on site, and it was free. And you also may want to consider a cord that you can hang up the wet items, the wet towels and wet bathing suits or wet clothes in general. So that's why it's a really good idea to make sure you have lots of clamps so you can hang up things to dry. Number 9, keep the area tidy and clean as much as you possibly can. Make sure you have trash bags and places to dump that trash daily. Always try to make sure you have plenty of tools for whatever you might need them for. You just don't know what might be necessary or what you may need to correct or fix or tie down. So make sure you have a lot of tools available. Make sure you have enough fuel to start a fire to cook your food. And you can never have too much toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizer and wipes to clean things off. So you can never go wrong with too much. And make sure that you have a way to keep your wood dry if it does rain, because my daughter had to end up covering the wood that she collected and the wood that we had with a plastic trash bag to keep it from getting wet. So just all of those things need to be considered. And lastly, number 10, have fun. Don't overexert yourself. And make sure you stay hydrated depending on the weather conditions, because we were there in the summer and it was hot and I became dehydrated. And so because of that, I woke up in the middle of the night with lots of muscle cramps. And also because of the heat and the sun, sometimes people end up getting headaches because they're dehydrated. So having something available to take, like Tylenol or Pedialyte or something to help keep you hydrated, to help get your body back to the way that it should be, so you can continue to enjoy yourself. One thing about the very first trip, you will quickly learn what works and what don't work. I hope these tips help you. I know it helped us. We learned a lot from our very first multi-family camping trip, and I think going forward, even if we think we planned it perfectly, I'm sure that there will still be things that we will learn along the way that will make the next trip even better than the one before. So until the next time, everyone, good mental health, good spiritual health, and as always, good physical health. Y'all take great care.